There's another evening. We are privileged to have a very special guest with us. Yesterday, we had a discussion on a couple of last few days on acupressure. Then we had discussion on other aspects of yoga, and the IIT director was here. Today, the special guest is Paulimi Mukherjee. She is a management graduate and an ex-banker, one of the most experienced instructor with the art of living, last 14 years, and she has been the regional head of the youth programs in North India, instructing and training, mentoring over 700 teachers in this state. And she has worked across the country, educating and making people aware of the value of yoga, especially Sudarshan Kriya in institutes like IIM, and also involved in drug de-addiction and blossoming of human values, promotion of talent and creativity, developing soft skills with technical skills. And she started many social campaigns to donate blood, educate a child, and march against corruption. So, as you can see, she is a very versatile personality and very active in Chandigarh, Punjab area. She was in Mumbai, stuck up in lockdown. She flew into Chandigarh in Mohali, and she's spared time to be with us. We hope to learn from her, and like we have been learning from various eminent speakers. As you all know, we do a morning and afternoon session, which is basically a practical yoga session with the scientific and the spiritual benefits and the contraindications of those asanas. And in the evening, we have eminent speakers. And so today is one of those evenings. For those who joined late or who are new subscribers, this information will be useful to you. Every weekend, we come out with a weekly roster. Yesterday, we circulated that roster, and this will go on till Sunday evening. Welcome, Paulimiji, to this program. We have among us yogacharyas, Ayush experts, makers, physicians, healthcare workers, nurses, a lot of PhD students, biologists, and this program has been going on since March 21st and hasn't stopped for a day. It's like our academic social responsibility beyond our research that we do. We are very honored that you spare time and we hope to learn from you. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Akshay Anandji. It is actually my honor and my privilege, to get an opportunity to interact with you and address you this evening. So today we'll keep it very short and crisp. So the topic for today's discussion is mind management and yoga. So finally, I was just wondering that we are all going through unprecedented times, isn't it? None of us had an idea what this is going to be. And I think we're all going through it in our own ways. And I found out a few things that can really, really make a difference at the level of the mind during these times. So, this is something that I wanted to share with you. Now, if you see, I was doing a survey, so I've been taking a lot of programs. You'll be very happy to know that we did a lot of programs for the COVID health workers, for the police personnel, for the frontline warriors, and the results have been phenomenal. And during this time, I was asking a lot of people what are the top 3 emotions that you are going through? Kya ho raha hai aapke man ke saath? What are you experiencing, especially in the beginning of the lockdown? So most of the people, they talked about anxiety, they talked about fear, uncertainty about the future. People are still very, very apprehensive, now that corona, it's rising so fast. I hope that I don't become a victim of that, right? So now this is not in our hand. What is in our hand is our own mind. Yeah. Because I believe the quality of our life depends on the state of our mind, isn't it? So let's begin and let's find out that what happens, what are the tendencies of the mind. If you notice, there has, again, I am presenting a few facts and figures because we have a lot of scientists and doctors and PhD students here. So you can Google it up and you can see that there was a survey that was done. And the question was that in 24 hours, how many thoughts come or bombard the human mind, the human brain? And you know what the result was? It was 60,000 thoughts per day, 24 hours. So, continuously there is an inflow and outflow of thoughts and thoughts. It's almost like a factory going inside our brain, inside the mind. And it was found out that almost 95% of these thoughts, of these 60,000 thoughts, were absolutely useless. Why? Because it was either about, the thoughts were either about the past, which is gone, done, washed off, and history. You can't change anything in the past, right? We can learn, but we can't change. But still, the mind keeps chewing on the past. Or these thoughts are about the future. If we see our own lives, isn't the same thing happening to us also? Continuously there is an inflow of thoughts, and this continuous oscillation of the mind between the past and future is one of the biggest causes of stress in the mind. It causes, the mind becomes like a pressure cooker. But life is happening in the present moment. That is why the present moment is called a present moment. It's a gift. We breathe and we live in the present moment. Yet, this wandering mind almost helplessly oscillates between the past and the future. So, what is it that we can do to bring the mind to the present moment? A lot of people told me, oh, we should close our eyes and we should focus and we should concentrate. But have you noticed, in the realm of the mind, if you want to resist a particular thought, you don't want to think about some thing. You want, suppose you've kind of got into a kind of argument with someone and you don't want to think about it. You don't want to think about the person. You don't want to think about the event. Yet you will see, the more you resist, the same thought will keep persisting. It will persist. Have you noticed this? So in the kingdom of the mind, the more you resist, it will persist. So focusing, concentrating, it doesn't help. Because the more you try to focus and say that, no, thoughts shouldn't come, more thoughts will bombard the mind. So there is a very beautiful, here comes the beauty and the science of yoga. Yoga means union. Union of what? Of the body, the mind, using the breath. If you notice, the body is sitting here. Body is in one place, stationary. But the mind, again, like we just discussed, is wandering all over the world. I mean, sitting here, suddenly the mind will go to America and think about somebody there. And it is so useless. We think about small, small things, which has absolutely no value in our life. It just sucks away our energy and creating so much stress in the mind, right? So there is a very beautiful tool that is inbuilt, it is programmed inside us, which helps us to achieve the yoga, the union, and that is our own breath. The breath has tremendous power. You may ask me that, we've been breathing since eons, we've been breathing since years, but yet my mind wanders, yet I get stressed. That's because we really need to learn a little more about it. Yeah. So let's go ahead and learn a little more about it. Maybe I'll share a few things. Have you noticed? I'm sure a lot of us, get angry once in a while. Yeah. Have you noticed when we get angry? Have you noticed the rhythm of the breath, the speed of the breath becomes fast? जब गुस्सा आता है, सांस की गति तेज हो जाती है. आपने नोटिस किया होगा, है ना? अच्छा, right now you're listening to me and you are calm, you're stable. Just notice your breath. The breath is also stable. It is rhythmic. It's normal. At times when we are very sad, or we've heard a very sad news, or we get into a mode of fear or shock, have you noticed, especially during sadness, our breath becomes long and deep? We say, we take a deep breath and say, oh God. Don't we say that? Vahe Guru. Oh no, don't we say that? Why? Because can you now notice there is a direct connection between our emotions that come into the mind and the pattern of the breath. For every emotion that comes into the mind, there is a definite rhythm and pattern in the breath. Now we have seen that we can't control. Let's say this is the mind, this is the breath. Now to control the mind from the level of the mind is very tough. We just saw it, right? Because the more we resist, the more the thoughts bombard us. So what we do is we learn how to breathe. We learn how to breathe. Breath is life and life is breath. Unfortunately, the most important thing in our life is breath. That keeps us. You won't even call me Polymmy. You will start calling me, oh, there is a body, please take it. I'll be nothing without the breath. The most important thing, yet the most neglected aspect of our existence, our breath, right? So when we start attending to the breath, when we learn how to breathe in a particular manner, it starts affecting our mind. Have you noticed sometimes when we get angry, people around us offer us a glass of water and say, calm down, take a few long deep breaths, kuch lambi gehri saans lo, ye lo pani pee lo. Because somewhere that change in the pattern of the breath helps us to calm down the mind. Breath again is very, very important. Facts again. We all know, we are all, from the medical fraternity, we are very intelligent. I'm a management graduate and I had an arts background. I did my BA in English literature. I had my honors. But when I came to Art of Living, when I did these programs and I learned the Sudarshan Kriya in particular, which is a very, very powerful and deep, very simple yet very powerful rhythmic breathing technique, I realized that I did not need to control my mind anymore. My mind was automatically getting calm. I was so easily, the same things on which I would get upset, I would get angry, I would get worried. I realized it's the same people, same situation. But oh my God, I'm not getting affected anymore. Such is the power of the breath. I had this t-shirt which says, no breath, no life, N-O. And at the back it was written, no breath, N-K-N-O-W, no breath, no life. So when we start knowing our own breath, we start understanding our life from a bigger perspective, our mind from a bigger perspective. And then the real union happens. Yeah. The mind comes more and more into the present moment. And these 60,000 thoughts that bombard us daily in 24 hours, they just suddenly they go away, and the mind is so much in the present moment. And in the present moment, the mind is relaxed, the mind is calm, and the mind is happy, and it is available to take up any responsibility. Yeah. So breathing is one part. Another part is the meditation. Meditation again is the art of letting go. So when you breathe, automatically all the stresses are gone. And then when you close your eyes and sit to meditate, then you can go deep within. And the reservoir of all energy is within us. We know that, right? We can't go to a mall and say, okay, let's buy energy worth 1,000 rupees, because there is nothing available outside. The source of all energy is right within us. It's a very simple way. If you just, if you just you can do it with me if you want to. You can just move your hands fast, really fast. Just do it like an experiment. Move your hand really fast and then let it be still. And you will notice so much vibrations in your hands. जैसे तिल में तेल छुपा होता है, वैसे एनर्जी, ऊर्जा हमारे भीतर है. We just need a little tool, a little technique, and a little, guidance, a little, I would say, push for us to bring that out. More energy, more happiness, more peace. Yeah. And if we are happy, we are peaceful, we'll be able to give out so much more to the world. And this is especially, I would request all the people who are, right now in front line fighting COVID warriors. I salute you and I do my namaskars to you, because you are risking your life out there. And humbly, I would like to offer, Dr. Akshay Anand has my number. So if you ever want to get in touch with me and you want to learn the Sudarshan Kriya, I'm available for you. Yeah, please do get in touch. We would love to share this with you. And do you know, there is a lot of research also that has happened. Yeah. So coming back again, mind management and yoga. Mind cannot be managed from the level of the mind. It has to be done through yoga. So I think my time is up, and thank you so much for coming and attending this session. And thank you so much, Akshay Anandji, for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to address such a August gathering this
Thank you
evening.
for making yourself convenient to come and give these very nice words about the importance of breath and mind management. If you may take one or two questions, can I pose them to you?
Sure,
So
please,
first is I know that you have been working on addiction, yoga, the role of Sudarshan Kriya and yoga in addiction. Would you like to give some inputs of what is happening and how the addicts are responding to lockdown with and without Sudarshan Kriya? Those who do not have access to yogic techniques or Sudarshan Kriya, if you have any information, and those who have been exposed, how are they responding to it in Punjab area? I believe you work in Punjab, so if you
right,
have, if you are okay sharing that experience, that will be
right.
good.
So, recently we took all over India and even in Punjab, we did a program for all the doctors and health workers, nurses. Uh, this was for the State Family Welfare and Health Department. So we have hundreds of doctors, nurses, and health workers, the medical staff who came and did this program. And we have recorded experiences after the program. We made them go through a 4-day program every day, 2 hours. And the results were phenomenal. They said that they never felt so light, they never felt so stress free. And they also said that their energy levels had gone up. And a few of them also reported that their immunity levels have gone up. So, this was a wonderful finding that we did recently. I can even share the reports with you so that you can share it further. And also for the police personnel. We did it all over India, but we also did it in Punjab.
Anything
So,
specific about the addicts who were not,
yes,
who did
yes,
not get an opportunity to find their substance of abuse
yes,
in the
yes.
lockdown? Do you also
Again,
have access to those?
absolutely, absolutely. So, again, the breathing techniques take care of the mind. See, what happens is when the mind is not happy, it is looking out for some kind of entertainment, some kind of solace, some kind of happiness outside, right? So what happens is people take these substances and then the whole vicious cycle begins. So what we have done is we have a very, very powerful program. Again, we are also doing online programs right now. In PGI, we have there is a drug de-addiction center, drug de-addiction and rehabilitation center in PGI itself, where our teachers, of course, not right now because right now we are not allowed, but we are doing online programs for them as well. But when COVID was not there, we have regular programs in PGI. And the results, again, we have all the results, all the research papers with us has been phenomenal. They start responding better to the treatment, you know, and their mind is much more stable. As we said, that breath and mind is related. So we take them through a lot of processes: yoga, meditation, breathing techniques, powerful breathing techniques, and a lot of beautiful knowledge nuggets and continuous hand holding. So they respond better to the medicine, they respond better to the treatment, because the mind is more in the acceptance mode. They are not, the violence, kind of the aggressiveness is reduced to a large extent. And we are still doing these online programs. So anybody is still welcome. If you know anybody who needs assistance, we are most welcome.
Thank
We are
you for
most
telling
welcome to
how
get in touch.
far you are moving to the hospitals and the way it might help people to seek entertainment within the heart rather than materialistic
Exactly.
pleasures.
Exactly.
One more and last question in the interest of time is the fact that I want to ask you how difficult it is for you to take the message and the value of yoga to the masses. And did you confront any challenges when you go teaching people in masses in context of your experience in maybe east or northeast with next? Did you have opportunity to
Yeah.
interact with the antisocial elements, if at all? Would you like to share that if it is okay?
Yes, absolutely. So, many years back, I was in Manipur. And, that time there was a lot of insurgency there. There were 32 underground groups. So I chanced to kind of meet them and interact with them. And I realized that, no one is a bad person. These people are stamped as criminals and culprits, but they are not. It is some stress in the system or some unaddressed issue which makes people rebel. So initially, they were very wary of me. They thought I was some agent from the government trying to track them down. And they threatened me, and they said they are going to kind of eliminate me. And then we had a 2-hour discussion. And I told them that, listen, you have all the arms. I don't have anything. So why are you threatening me? What are you feeling? What would I do? I've just come here to share some very beautiful knowledge about meditation, about yoga and Sudarshan Kriya. And you'll be very happy to know that quite a few of them today are Art of Living teachers and volunteers in Northeast. Time is short, otherwise we could have shared a lot more.
We will
The
have
same,
another. We would like to call you again, but thank you for
sure.
relating that challenge
Yeah.
that you confronted. I wanted to end it in the interest of time, but then there is a pressing question, one more question, a difficult one, maybe. Can- We can together try to answer that. The question is that, as you mentioned, that there are so many thoughts coming to the mind, thousands of them, and you mentioned there was a study done. So one of our viewers is asking, then why did God make such a brain where 50,000 thoughts come? They may have a purpose. Maybe they have a purpose. Are we going against the purpose?
So, if the thoughts are coming, let them come. They can be more than 60,000 thoughts. But if it's something constructive, something that helps a human to evolve, then it is fantastic. Let the thoughts come. But if you see the tendency of the mind, for example, you will see the tendency of the mind. If there is, let's say there are 10 things that has happened in the past. And out of that 10 things, only one bad or a negative event or, whatever has happened. But it is the tendency of the mind to cling to the negative. I will give you a very simple example. Well, Dr. Anand is not my ideal volunteer, but as of now, so I want to give you compliments, Dr. Akshay Anand, that you are such a lovely personality and you are so giving and so caring and so intelligent and so forthright and so responsible. And I love the way you talk and you have such a fantastic personality. But you know what, Dr. Anand? Your nose is half a centimeter, it is distorted. Now, see how the mind clings. Dr. Anand will go back home, and when he sees himself in the mirror, what is he going to see first? He's going to see his nose. The mind completely forgets all the good compliments that one gives and clings on to the negative. So there's nothing wrong in having thoughts, but the choice of thoughts, that's not in our hand. Sometimes that is not in our control because thoughts come. We don't invite them. It just comes, not just to you and me, but I think any living being who has a mind.
Thank you for that very nice explanation. I hope this will pacify our viewer. So that will end, and now we have a promise for you that you will come again to describe in detail your Manipur and inspire our viewers. Thank you very much for a very lovely talk and a wonderful presentation.
Thank you so much. My honor.